So there's also this very, very important clause in this Claim of Right Act, 1689. And it says, by imprisoning persons without expressing the reason and delaying to put them to trial. Well, they're delaying. Some of them aren't getting a proper trial. I don't know if it was Roger Hallam or someone else, but there was some other activists, particularly some foreign ones as well. There are many activists who have been in prison for a certain amount of time without a trial. I don't know if that would include Assange as well. I'm not sure. But it says here. Now, I've only just learned about this law, this Claim of Right Act. And this Professor Karen Bowie only put this paper together which cites that and other acts about 3 or 4 years ago, which is kind of like quite a lot of time has passed since. It will have been just before we went into the whole COVID thing. In fact, it will have probably been around the time when I lost my driving licence, really. And she put in that paper. I hadn't heard of it. This is very, very important. There's another clause in here that says that people can't be imprisoned. I think Jonathan Fuller was talking about that when he was in court. One of the barristers was saying, whether or not people should be imprisoned or not. It says they shouldn't in this act, or can't be imprisoned. But this one is, I don't know what law. If Rishi Sunak, Priti Patel, Suella Braverman, and these ministers have been putting through these bills more recently, where they can start, they're claiming they can start doing things to people, without a trial. Protesters, particularly when protesters of all people, of all commercial or recreational, anything else you can do in the country that's not political has a protection, but then they're saying they can put people in prison without trial. When it says in here that people can't be. And not only that, it's the act that's got law in that says that if it's political, then you can't even be imprisoned or prosecuted. So this is the thing with these ministers. They really don't know what they're doing, and they're making laws illegally. Max Hill has been prosecuting people unlawfully and completely ignoring 2 full acts of law, which are the ones that we want to use. If he'd used those acts, he wouldn't have been able to do it, which is why he didn't want to acknowledge their existence, which is why they've just been wanting to get these criminal damage convictions. The police are just doing what they want. They are making their own rules up when the rules are actually set out. And all this imprisonment, without a trial, something needs to be done about it. I don't know what Roger Hallam's got to say about it. I don't know if the Scottish XR people were aware of this or had read this petitioning paper, but I've only just found it, and I wouldn't have found it if I hadn't been looking for the Tumultuous Petitioning Act, and I only found out about the Tumultuous Act by chance. Edward Fitzgerald, in his entire Smoke and Mirrors book, doesn't even mention the Tumultuous Petitioning Act once. And it features quite a lot in this Karen Bowie paper, which is 13 pages long. These laws are what all of the other codified laws are meant to be based around. The only reason that the police are allowed to do what they can do in their job, why it's codified, why they can break the law, why we assist them, why we are assisting offenders with the police. The police are offenders and we are assisting them. And that's what the Crown Prosecution Service have got in their assisting offenders policy on immunity. They grant immunity to whoever they want on their side. So, all the laws that they've been enacting now in Parliament should actually have to comply with this. And this says that you cannot actually imprison people and delay a trial, or even without a trial. By imprisoning people without express reason. Well, the thing is, when I got arrested and charged and so forth, I got put in the cells, right? Without expressing the reason and delaying them to be put by trial. Well, if you're being charged with something, you know, is being put in the police cells imprisonment, because when I went through that experience, to me, it felt like that I was being punished. It was part of the punishment and being imprisoned, right? I actually was being imprisoned for a short amount of time. That's what it felt like, even if I might have been found not guilty. Now, the thing is that when you're charged with something, you have to defend it, but it's official. You're officially charged. So that means you have a right to defend. And in order to defend, that means you have to do legal procedures, but you are officially in a case defending. So, you know, you might need witnesses. You can actually self-represent. You don't need a lawyer. You can't self-represent if you're in a cell. If there's evidence to be gathered, if there is things to prove, evidence to obtain, or witnesses to find, you know, put a notice in the newspaper for witnesses to come forward for your side, not just the prosecution, for the defence. All these things that a solicitor can handle, you could do yourself or get a duty solicitor if you know the law. But this is the thing. When you're in a police cell and they give you that little book, you've got to read through the little book, you know, say, do you know the law? This is the thing. You can represent yourself, and you can say, well, first of all, you know, if you're charging me, that means I'm officially involved in a case, representing, and I've got powers now. I've got powers for my side, for the defence, which is to obtain evidence, or, you know, and the police, if they're charging me and they're with the prosecution against me, you know, how can you lawfully defend if you've been detained in a cell? How can you, you know, sort out putting witness adverts in a newspaper for the defence to come forward, or even go places, investigate for evidence for your side? You're charged with powers, policing powers, to get evidence for your defence. In the same way that a police officer investigates for the court trial against you to defend yourself. So why we're getting imprisoned in cells while we're waiting trial, you tell me. It's, you know, is it in the little book they give you? I doubt it. These are more cons of the government, but look, let's get this clear. Max Hill, the director of public prosecutions, after a woman was acquitted even by a court, he himself, directed and willed personally for the conviction of a woman when the law provides what she did is not an offence, and he ignored 2 entire complete volumes of law because the police don't want to acknowledge those acts because it explains that it's not an offence, and then we want to get a criminal damage charge out of this. That's what they want. Yet no one's trying the police chief's immunity. No one's trying Max Hill's immunity. There's no one trying. Who's trying the judge's immunity? It says here that imprisoning people while expressing the reason and delaying them in put to trial. Does that mean that if you've been charged, you can't be imprisoned? Because you've got to go to trial and you've got to put a defence in. Now, they tell you the reason that you're being charged, but you've got to defend. A lot of the time you're out on bail, what they call bail, which is, you know, granting bail. So there you can fulfil functions. If you know the law and you know what you're doing and you need what to do for your case, you can get warrants from the magistrate. You can get search warrants for you or your solicitor. People don't know this Because as far as magistrates are concerned, we are rats. We are scum, peasants, people, stupid people who know nothing. But yet we've got these, cases with, the High Court who doesn't even know what a recreational park bench is installed by a council. This is the problem with Assange. Assange also. For expressing a reason for being imprisoned, surely can only be imprisoned anyway if you've been found guilty at a trial. So why would you be in prison? I don't even know what those cells are for, why they have those cells. Because when you go in to be questioned, you're invited into the police station, you go sit in the waiting room, and then they take you through to a questioning room, answer some questions, and then they call you back on another date or whatever. You don't really want to be put in cells unless you've been found guilty of an offence. And as for these activists who have been held, without a trial, it's got to be against this clause. I don't know how these ministers are enacting these laws at the moment. It's been pushed through by the police, by the Met Police Chief. He's almost a spitting image of Max Hill, isn't he? Then he comes there in the committee room, we need more powers, we can't do this, we can't do that, you don't understand the law. No, actually, the police don't understand the law. The police are there in front of a committee, telling the committee that, why don't you see the newspapers about it? The Met Police Chief, why don't you see the newspapers about it? Why don't you see the newspapers about it, right? Illegal campaign intervention. We need more powers. We need to change the law. Well, actually, no, you don't need to change the law. The law's there to protect, actually, us from you, but you're completely ignoring multiple acts of law which clearly define that it's not even criminal. And, in order to get conviction out of it, you completely blank them. The Met Police Chief as well. Why are we not trying these police officers, these judges? Where are the 100 volunteer solicitors to bring criminal charges against these people? Starmer, Max Hill, Saunders. No one's even trying. We don't even try. Actions against the police. We'll sue them, get compensation. Where are the criminal charges against the police? They got immunity. It's nice to know that. We're supposed to as well. Look, read that. No, it doesn't exist. What do you mean it doesn't exist? What are the CPS doing getting witnesses under immunity for then? Informers. It'd be all right if someone informed Max Hill of the Town and Country Planning Acts. Both of them. Statutory instruments. Informer. Down. Max Hill needs an informer to inform him what the freaking law is, because he clearly doesn't know what it is, even though he's meant to be a QC, because he doesn't want to know it.